members of the gallery and to our viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. My name's Alan Getley and I'm the Mayor of the Buloke Shire Council and the Chairperson of tonight's Council meeting. It's my pleasure to welcome you all here tonight to this Council meeting. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay our respect to their elders and to the elders of any other communities who may be here today. Thank you. Be seated. The Council meeting is being recorded and web streamed live to Council's website via YouTube. The recording will also be available as video on demand. Attendees are advised that they'll be recorded during the meeting. A reminder that as councillors, we will act in accordance with the Councillor Model Code of Conduct, which we will support the principles of leadership and good governance and secures the public confidence in the office of councillor. I'd like to introduce the councillors in attendance tonight and welcome to the first time councillors, your first council meeting, Councillor Stephen Barrett, Councillor Charmaine Delaney, Councillor Bernadette Hogan, Councillor Graham Mill and Councillor Bruce Stafford. Welcome. I'd also like to introduce Mr Wayne O'Toole, Chief Executive Officer and the Executive Management Team, Gaynor Atkin, Dan McLaughlin and Anthony Smith. I'd also like to welcome the Municipal Monitor, Peter Harriott, and Council's Governance Manager, Jennifer Hewitt. So welcome along. Item 2 on the agenda is apologies. I've received no apologies as we're all here. I no confirmation minutes of previous meeting. Councillors, could I have a motion for the confirmation of the minutes of the Council meeting held on the 9th of October 2024 and the 20th of November 2024? Can I have a move in a second?
Happy to do that, Mr Mayor.
A move by Councillor Milne and a seconder.
Happy to second. Happy to second that.
We accept that?
No, you can't. It's the last meeting you weren't at. Yeah, that's okay. Happy to second that.
Thank you,
Yep.
Councillor Hogan. Is anybody against that motion? No. As there's nobody against, I declare that motion carried. We'll now, those meetings have been confirmed and we'll move on to leave of absence. Councillors, are there any requests for leave of absence this evening? I have received none. Thank you. Conflicts of pecuniary and conflicts of interest. Councillors, are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Councillors, would you please state which item your conflict of interest relates to? Councillors, immediately before we consider that item, I will ask you to make a full disclosure, type and nature of that conflict of interest. I'll ask you to leave the meeting before the item is moved and to return after that item has been considered and voted on. Any conflict of interest tonight, councillors?
Not from aware of.
Thank you. Questions from the public. Item 6, we have received none. Move to procedural items and 7.1, report of councillor assemblies. Councillor, is there a motion to receive the report of councillor assemblies, please?
Yes.
Councillor Hogan.
Happy to.
And a seconder. Councillor Delaney. Is there anybody opposed to that motion?
No.
In that case, I'll declare that motion carried. 7.2, status of action of past council meetings resolutions. Councillors, there's a motion to receive the status of actions past council meeting resolutions. Have I got a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillor Barrett, a seconder. Councillor Stafford. Any discussion? Anybody opposed to that motion?
No.
I declare that motion carried. Thank you. Item 8, other business, policy reports, council expense policy. In accordance with the Local Government Act 2020, council is required to adopt and maintain a council expense policy. Councillors, is there a motion to adopt a council expense policy, please?
Happy to.
Councillor Hogan. And have I got a seconder for that one? Councillor Stafford. Thank you. Any discussion on that?
This policy was examined and endorsed by the Audit and Risk Committee on their meeting the 4th of the 12th. And I think that's a good enough acknowledgement for all of us.
Councillor Hogan. Councillor Stafford? No. Anybody opposed to that motion? There's no dissent, that is carried. Thank you. 8.12, draft governance rules and council election policy. Councillors, next on the agenda we have the draft governance rules and council election policy. The draft governance rules and election policy have been revised and are now ready for community consultation. Councillors, can I have a motion for that, please?
Mr Mayor.
Councillor Milne.
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to move a motion for this item as is written in the recommendation, except for point 3, which reads as follows: allows presentations in support of written submissions to be heard at the council meeting on the 19th of February, prior to the proposed adoption of these draft rules. And in relation to that, Mr Mayor, I'm also including that within the body of the report to extend the period of time that it's out for public consultation by 1 month, so that we're not seen to be over the Christmas New Year holiday period. So the motion would include the extension of time for public prosecution, and that it would, instead of coming back to the February meeting, it comes back to the March meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Do I have a seconder for Councillor Milne's motion? Councillor Barrett. Thank you. Anybody opposed to that motion? No, you've explained it very well, Councillor Milne. As there's no opposition, I will declare that motion carried.
Thank you all. Thank you.
8.1.3, Child Safe Standards Policy. The Child Safe Standards Policy was circulated with the agenda. Councillors, do I have a motion for the Child Safe Standards Policy, please? Councillor Delaney. And do I have a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second it.
Councillor Hogan. Thank you. I should actually look at the screen there. A bit hang on that. Is there any dissent on that motion? As there is not, I'll declare that motion carried. 8.2, management reports, and 8.21 is a excess animal permit application, and that is for 22 King Street in Birchip. Councillors, can I have... Got a recommendation that Council consider the office recommendation to refuse the application Keeping Animals Community Local Law 2019 Clause 42-1 to keep 5 dogs. I think I'm on the wrong one. That's not fair. No, where's 2.1? Glitch in the paperwork. So I've called for a motion for 8.21, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move a motion that we grant the permit to keep 3 dogs at 22 King Street, Birchip, in accordance with the Community Local Law 2019 Clause 42.1, and subject to all the terms and conditions that are listed in this original recommendation, and 2, note and declare that the attachments to this report are confidential on the grounds that it relates to personal information, being information which, if released, would result in the unreasonable disclosure of information about any person or their personal affairs as described in Section 3.1 of the Local Government Act 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Is there a seconder for Councillor Hogan?
Happy to second that.
Is there any dissent to that motion? If there is not, you've explained that well.
Does Councillor Miller want to talk to the motion?
Doesn't have to, there's no dissent.
Yeah, well, I can put it back to the resolution.
All right, so you can speak to the resolution if you'd like.
Oh, look, thank you, Mr Mayor, and just to explain my reasoning in that in some of these cases in all of these cases where we have these applications come before us, they are subject to terms and conditions, and in some instances I believe it's appropriate that we do grant the permit and let the terms and conditions dictate whether they hold the permit or not for any length of time. If the people are genuine, they'll abide by those terms and conditions, and everything will be fine. If not, then our local laws officers will be able to deal with that. But in this situation, I believe that it's in our best interest, or in the best interest of the applicant, to have this granted.
Thank you. Councillor Milne?
Yeah, there was no dissent.
No dissent. So that, as there's no dissent, that that motion is carried. We'll get this hand around this a bit. 8.2.2 is another excess animal permit, and it relates to 5 dogs at 202 Best Street, Sea Lake. Can I have a motion for that one, please? Councillor Hogan?
Yep.
Do you want me to read the...
Need a motion, please.
Okay. I would recommend that the council grant the permit to keep 5 dogs at 202 Best Street, Sea Lake, in accordance with Community Local Law 2019, Clause 42, subject to the following conditions. Would you like me to read those conditions?
I think they're as written.
Yep, as written. Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Hogan, do I have a seconder for that motion, please? Councillor Delaney? Any dissent to that motion? Got to speak to that?
It would seem from the application that the owner of the dogs is a fairly responsible pet owner, and the pets are actually part of her employment requirement. She teaches agriculture.
Thank you, Councillor Hogan. As there was no dissent, that motion is carried. 8.23, another excess animal permit application, this time relating to 10 Morrison Street, Birchip. Can I have a motion for this application, please? Councillor Milne?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I'm happy to go with the recommendation on this one, Mr Mayor, that we refuse the application for this applicant on concerns and wishes of objectors. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder for that motion, Councillor Barrett. Any dissent to that motion? Councillor Milne, you need to speak to that?
No, look, I think that in this situation, Mr Mayor, that the objectors have put a reasonable case, and that more work needs to be done probably with the applicant if she wishes to make a future application to better understand what her responsibilities are at this point. And I've got no doubt that the person can take on board what we might have to say, but at this point in time I think more work's required. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. As there was no dissent, that motion is carried. 8.2.4. Councillors, do I have a motion to award funding to the projects detailed in the report under the Community Grants Program and Community Sustainability Grants Program, please? Do I have a motion, please?
Oh, happy to
Councillor Hogan?
move that. I've got to find it first.
Hogan, they come over and speak to the, make the motion.
Are we going to be using the big screens, or that's not?
Yeah, you can scroll on the big screen or if you're
Oh, no,
mouse.
sorry.
Councillor Hogan.
Sorry. Okay, what page are we on?
157.
157. I thought these were supposed to go automatically. Now we're past them. Yep. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so the recommendation is that the council approve the following allocation of funds under the Community Grants Program: $500 to the Birchip P12 School Art Show, $1,762 to the Painting J524, the Lions Club of Donald, $2,000 to Buloke Health Expo 2025, and $1,000 for the procurement of electric office equipment to improve club operations at the Charlton Camp Draft Club. And that we approve the following allocation of funds under the Community Sustainability Grants Program. $2,000 reducing BRI Hall's carbon footprint, the Donald Youth Group, also by the Granite Community Church.
Thank you, Councillor Hogan. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Delaney. Any dissent? Councillor Hogan, do you wish to add anything further?
Oh, I think they all seem to be very well worthwhile projects, and it'd be good to see them when they're all finished and attend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr Mayor.
Councillor Mills.
Thank you. And further to what's been said, I believe a couple of these have a bit of a hangover from our caretaker period. So while it looks like there's a lot coming in, it's good to be able to catch up and award some of these to worthy projects, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mills. As there was no dissent, I will declare that motion carried. 8.2.5, Deed of Notation, Contract Number C101 2021-22 for the provision of waste and recycling services. Councillors, do I have a motion to authorise the CEO to sign the Deed of Notation in relation to the Council's waste and recycling contract? Can I have a mover and a seconder, please, for that?
I'm happy to move.
Councillor Hogan, moved, and a seconder, please. Councillor Barrett, thank you. I've got that one on the screen. I've hidden there.
So have I, which is a bit of a change.
Councillor Hogan, speak to the motion, please.
Do you want me to read it or we could?
No.
Okay.
As written.
Yeah. So I think this is the deed of notation is effectively just continuation of the current contract, which was adopted in 2021. It's already been provided for in the budget, and the new company is fully reimbursing council for the costs of adopting the novated lease as prepared by Maddox lawyers. So, can't see any issues.
Thank you. As nobody was opposed, I will declare that motion carried. Thank you. 8.26, appointment of Independent Audit and Risk Committee member. Can I have a motion, please, to appoint the member? Councillor Mill.
Happy to do that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you.
As written.
And a...
Sorry, yeah.
As written, yeah.
I was reading it. Yeah, the recommendation that Council appoint Mr Stephen Gardner as an independent member of the Buloke Shire Council Audit and Risk Committee for a period of 3 years commencing 13 January 25.
Thank you. A seconder for that, please. Councillor Delaney. Any dissent? No. I don't think there'd be any further discussion, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to say it's good that that we've been able to fill that position. Created by Margaret Abbey, Miss Abbey's time being up on the Audit Committee. It's nice to be able to fill that committee position straight up, and so that committee can go forward in the new year and keep doing its good work.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. As there was no dissent, that motion is carried. 8.3, financial reports, and 8.31, financial report for the quarter to the 30th of September 2024. Councillors, before us we have the quarterly financial report for the period ending 30th of September 2024. Do I have a motion, please? Councillor Barrett? Do you have a motion for me, please?
Yeah, I'm going to move the adopt the report
As written.
presented to us tonight.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder for that report, please? Councillor Stafford, thank you. Councillor Barrett, do you want any discussion on that?
No, I think it looks pretty healthy from at present time, and we'll continue on that vein.
Thank you. As there was no dissent, I'll declare that motion carried. Councillor Milne, do you like a comment?
Sorry, there was a question.
Sorry, yep.
Mr Mayor. and I'm just trying to find it. It was in relation to, I guess, the Sea Lake development. That we had an amount of money there, and I just can't find it in here because I'm...
183,394, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so it relates to the fact that we had an amount of money, sorry, thank you, Stephen, Councillor Barrett, Stephen Barrett. It relates to that there was an amount of money and we seem to have exceeded that by a considerable amount. Is there an explanation for that, please?
Thank you, Councillor Mill, and Mayor, through you, I refer that to the Director, Mr McLaughlin.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you, Councillor Milne, and through you, Mr Mayor. Councillor Milne, the carry forward was not, the project was not carried forward in the new financial year because when the budget was originally put together, it was thought the project would be finished. So the entire project budget is actually over by approximately $40,000, not the 180 that's in the description.
Very well, thank you, Mr McLaughlin.
There's no other questions and that was unopposed. I will declare that motion carried. 8.4, organisational reports. 8.4.1, Audit and Risk Committee Chair Report. Councillors, this is the biannual Audit and Risk Report from the Chair of the Audit and Risk Committee. Do I have a motion, please, to receive the Audit and Risk Committee Chair's report?
Happy to move it. Yeah, happy to.
Councillor Hogan, and a seconder, please. Councillor Delaney. Councillor Hogan, as I take it as written, any comment on that?
That the Council notes the biannual Audit and Risk Report from the Chair of the Audit and Risk Committee, and I've just received the report as noted, and just to note the dedicated service given to us by Margaret Abbey, who has now resigned. So, finished up her role. So a nice lady who did a good job.
Thank you. As there was no dissent on that one, I declare that one noted and received. Thank you. 9, other business. 9.1, notice of motions. There are no notice of motions for council to consider this evening.
Did you miss one?
Sorry?
8.5.
Right. I don't have...
Expert lunch.
8.5.
I don't have an 8.5. Thank you, Councillor Milne. 8.5 is reports from councillors. Do we have any, and I'll go around the room, start with you, Councillor Stafford. Nothing. Councillor Milne.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, not a lot is happening at this point in time, and I will provide a written report, which is something I'm unfamiliar with. So I'll improve my ability to do that. The run of community Christmas celebrations and high school, other school presentations have been on in the last few days, and they're probably about all that there's been opportunity to attend, other than a number of meetings called by ratepayers to do with wind farms, what are those other things? Sand pits, mineral sands. That's it. And the associated twos and pros with those things. So they've taken up a fair bit of time, and there's a lot there to take in, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Councillor Barrett.
No, not really. I haven't got much to report at this stage. I did have a meeting last Thursday with the ACEN for the wind farms. That was an hour meeting where I got their viewpoint on the development. Asked a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions to fire back at them, and they were answered in a fair and equitable manner, I thought, and that's about all really at this stage.
Thank you. Councillor Delaney.
Just to second Councillor Milne's comments on a lot of activities within the community, and we'll do the same.
Councillor Hogan.
I'd just like to thank the staff who organised the induction process, but particularly the bus trip, which was a great day out. And so thanks to all the staff for putting the time to organise that. And it was, a very enjoyable day as we toured all around the different towns within the Shire and saw all the lakes and the beautiful playgrounds and everything that have been updated in recent months. So that was a really good day. And I'd also attended the Tyrrell College Awards night last night, and I just, it was a great night, and it was really enjoyable to see all of the senior students finish their schooling in such a lovely professional way. And I'd just like to congratulate all the senior students of all the schools across the Shire who have finished up with their education and on their secondary education and on to bigger and better things next year. So it's a nice time of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hogan. I'd just like to say that basically I've done the same thing, but I want to make mention, last night at Donald, the Denellen family, or whether you pronounce that name, finished 63 consecutive years with students at the school. That's a hell of a record, and I think that really needs noting. That last night at the Ducks of the school, he was the last one to go through there, but been 63 consecutive years of having students go through the school. Councillor Milne.
Can I do a Leo, please, Mr.
You may.
Thank you. A couple of things. I noted that we don't have in the agenda the congratulations section.
Yeah, I'll just pick that up as well, Councillor Milne. So if there are any that you'd like to...
I will provide two or three, and I spoke about them, or a couple of them at the briefing. The girls' football team from Birchip being one of them, but Mr Mayor has jogged my memory. Last night at the Birchip presentation, it was noted that two teachers have served 35 years in employment at the Birchip P12 school, and all been at that particular school. So that was Mr Christie and Mr Sale, the principal. So principal and vice principal. So they've all been there at that for their entire school life, and I will be adding them to the list of things, as well as Les Cooper, who's won the Haywire regional championship and who cleaned up last night at the awards as well. He had to get a wheelbarrow to cart it all home. So thank you, but I will provide some details, and if that can be included. If not, we can include it in the next month.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. 9, other business. Notice of motion, I have none. 9.2, questions from councillors. 9.21, councillors, do you have any questions? Please, I'll start with the same way. Councillor Milne, no. Councillor Barrett?
Got a question from I hope I get this right. The man, the stick man at Nullarbor. He's got an issue with the sign. I was just wondering if we could probably help him out in some way with that being a nice tourist draw card. We need something at that sort of area.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Mayor, operational matter, but happy to take some details from Councillor Barrett with the followers.
Thank you. Councillor Delaney? Councillor Hogan?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you. 9.3, urgent business. I've been notified of no urgent business. 9.4, any other business? I haven't been notified. 9.5, matters that may exclude the public, which are nil. Which brings us to item 10, which is to close the meeting. But just prior to do that, I would just like to say that this is their last meeting of the year, obviously. Christmas is upon us. I hope everybody in this room has a very Merry Christmas and a safe Christmas. a bit of rest with friends and family, and look forward to seeing you all in the new year. So Merry Christmas to you all, and I'll declare the meeting closed at 7:30. Thank you very much.
Thank you.